Good afternoon. Welcome to the Chicago Tribune newsroom. My name is Angela Rose. I'm an editor on the Metra desk, and we're going to be bringing you a couple of stories today. Coming up in a few minutes, Blackhawks, of course. We'll be talking with Stacey St. Clair about where the cup has been and where it may be going in the future. But first up, we've got Rich Ronsky, a reporter in the suburbs who's been covering Metra and the departure of the CEO of Metra, Alex Clifford. And Rich, you've discovered some interesting parts of this severance package that Metra gave the outgoing CEO. What can you tell us about what's been going on?
Well, the severance agreement that Alex Clifford, the outgoing Metra CEO, signed with Metra's board of directors has two very interesting aspects to it. One is the confidentiality clause, which prohibits either side from discussing virtually any aspect of the agreement whatsoever. And a lot of people find this very unusual for a public body to have negotiated such an agreement. Public bodies are supposed to be accountable to the public. They're supposed to be transparent. They're supposed to be open in their dealings. And this certainly contradicts that philosophy completely.
So tell
Another
us,
aspect that's very interesting is the amount of the severance that Clifford was given by Metra. His original hiring contract allowed for him to be given 6 months severance, which was generous, and also agreed to pay routine things like moving expenses and things like that. But the agreement that was negotiated rather goes far beyond that and gives Clifford, in effect, 12 months pay for whether he finds another job or not. And legal experts are looking at that with raised eyebrows, saying they don't understand why Metra negotiated that aspect of the agreement at all.
Because he only had some, 8-9 months left on his contract?
Yes, his contract would have expired next February. The question that many people are raising is why simply, if Metra wanted to let him go and bring someone new, why didn't they just let his contract expire, fulfill the terms of his original hiring agreement, and move on from there? Metra's board of directors, led by Chairman Brad O'Halloran, chose a different strategy, and I'm afraid that they're not doing a very good job of explaining why they took that strategy right now.
So far, their answers to you have been, well, it's in the contract, or we can't discuss that, or I think I saw one reference to this is better off for the agency and for the city. But one of the questions that I read in your story today, people are asking, well, is this going to be public money, or this is going to be public money that's going to be used to pay for the remainder of his contract, and an additional, 3-4 months after his contract is done, whether or not he finds a job, he'll still get paid additional funds?
Yes, under the terms of the contract, he could theoretically not do anything at all for the next 12 months after he leaves Metra and get paid quite a generous amount of money. And legal experts find that very unusual. They say there's no possibility that they're aware of anyway that no rationale, put it that way, for why he should have been given that clause in his contract, why he should have been given that extra amount of money. And that's the big question for Metra's board right now, is why did they negotiate that particular aspect of that contract?
What are some of the critics saying to you about this secrecy clause and about the payment?
First of all, that it's unprecedented. We don't have public bodies negotiating secret agreements. If you're going to let go of a top manager, then fine, you can spell it all out for the public and you can explain that. In this particular case, there's virtually no explanation whatsoever, other than Metra chairman saying that they have a difference of opinion and they're going to move on, but we're going to give Mr. Clifford a very generous severance pay. But the extent of that severance pay is shrouded in secrecy or question and really needs to be answered a little bit more by the board.
And so far, Alex Clifford has not spoken with you to explain his side of why he deserves this extensive severance package?
Not Clifford, no, not yet. But I do anticipate talking with him, and I think he's going to be willing to explain as far as he can in the contract, his side of the negotiations. But I think it's incumbent on the Metra's board to explain why they even structured this contract that way in the first place.
Great. Thanks, Rich. As always, enjoy reading your stories, and we'll be looking for more to come on that. Next, we're going to be talking Blackhawks. They won last night. We've got Stacey St. Clair with us here today to talk about where the Lord Stanley Cup has been this year and where it may be going. Now, Stacey, you've been up since very early this morning, not as early as, well, they never went to sleep.
Not as early as the Blackhawks, right, who haven't been to bed yet.
So where did it go? Where has it been?
Well, it followed a little bit of the path it took in 2010. They got off the plane at O'Hare, were met by cannons, water cannons shot by the Chicago Fire Department. They went to Harry Carey's like they did in 2010, had a meal with their family and friends, and then they headed to the Scout over in the South Loop. And that's where all the fans sort of migrated to and kind of mobbed them there.
So these are fans who themselves, most of had been up all night, right? We were hearing reports of fans in Wrigleyville doing that Wrigleyville thing.
Yeah, things got, kind of Wrigleyville in Wrigleyville last night, and there was 21 people arrested, mostly, disorderly conduct, a couple batteries. Then I think a little bit less than 24 citations for drinking in public, for littering, that kind of thing. But the images are pretty staggering from Wrigleyville. But cops say, overall, it was pretty peaceful in terms of Chicago championship celebration.
So we went through this in 2010. Comparatively, is it as much hoopla with the cup or with?
I think it's a little bit more frenzied because we know that the cup is going to take this gigantic victory lap around the city. So everyone's trying to follow the cup. There's hashtag cup watcher, cup tracker on Twitter to just kind of see where it's going. And everyone seems to be trying to go to these places to find the cup.
Right. So we have folks who've gone out to the Pony, for example, where we knew back
hundreds
in 2010.
of people at the Pony because the players went to the Pony in 2010 and they have not shown up there yet today. So there's some disappointed people, but I think they at this point feel like if they stay long enough, they will almost shame the Blackhawks into showing up. So, best of luck to you, Pony.
But we know where the cup is right now, which is believed to be at the United Center.
Right. We know it's at the United Center as of this broadcast. We can see it through the windows with John McDonough, I think, was posing with it. We know it's been in the locker room. So we know it's there. We just don't know where it's going next.
Okay. If history has any guide, back in 2010, number of Blackhawks took it out on the town.
Right.
The night after they got some sleep.
They got some sleep and they went out and they kind of hit, Rush Street. They were at the steakhouse on Rush Street. They ended up going to Rocket. You'll see it out tonight. I'm almost positive.
So you're able to follow some of this through the amazing world of Twitter and
through
the
Twitter.
hashtags that we've got a lot of just general people who are sending in these messages and giving us an idea of where they think it is.
Right. Well, our number one resource is our people on the ground, our photographers, our reporters. They're plugged in.
They are out there.
And we are getting tweets from people on Twitter who are using the hashtag Cup Tracker to tell us where they saw it or where they've heard they've seen it. So we've had a few false alarms today, but better to check something out than to not.
I know we got a feed from one of our reporters out in Hinsdale who. Coach Quinlan was out there.
Coach Quinlan was out, and he his home was TP'd as it was by fans in 2010. It happened again, and he seemed to take it in stride. When he returned home today, he posed for pictures and signed autographs, and probably the only time you can TP a house in Hinsdale and have that kind of warm reception. So
Coach Q has been out and about maybe more than the Hawks themselves that we've seen.
We've definitely seen him out more. He went to breakfast in Hinsdale and actually stopped eating mid-meal and went outside because he could see the crowd was growing. He went outside and someone said shook some hands, held some babies, petted some dogs. Maybe he's running for office. I don't know. He could.
Next up for the city. So there'll be some partying with the cup and stuff and all those weird pictures that you get of the weird things that they put in the cup. You've got that awesome
We've already had a baby in the cup.
I'm sorry?
There was a baby in the cup on the ice last night.
There was a trout in the cup back in 2010. But for the general public, the mayor has announced that there's going to be a parade on Friday.
He said it's going to be Friday. We don't know the details yet, the time, the place, but the mayor tells us that it will be a proper celebration despite the very tight budget the city's under right now, and that he said it will feel like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So,
got to get that reference.
Yeah, Danke schön, Mayor.
Great. Well, thanks so much,
Sure.
Stacey. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. We'll do it again.